Hi friends. In a Tkinter application, the most important thing is how we will capture the various user driven events. So and then integrate into our application. So in that case, we will start with the first mouse enter, mouse leave events over a button. So that is easy to understand. Then we will move to a complex click, double click, various other events which are associated with a usually a graphics user interface. Now before we move further, my request is please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you'll be notified as and when we add the new tutorials. So we are frequently doing that also. Let's start the script. We'll start from here. This is our blank template. Let's run this and see the window. This is our blank window. Over this, we'll first place our button. So bt1 equal to tk dot button. My parent window is my underscore w at line number 2 above we have declared it. Now first the text, what you will write it. Initial text, whatever you want, you can write it. Let's say submit. Now slightly to make it prominent, I am just giving a background color, BG or background color of yellow. Now slightly higher font I am using of 18. Now width of this button I am giving 20. By default it is 10. Now let's place this on a grid to display it. So bt1 or the button 1 dot grid. Now row equal to 0, column equal to 0. It's my first or the only button, so 0 0. I can write 1 1 also. Now pad x. I'm not flushing with the left edge, so giving a pad x of 80. Now pad y. Pad y I am giving, let's say from the top I am giving a gap of 50. Now this should display my button. Let's just see this. I am running this. You can see here it is. The button is there with the background yellow. I can click this also. Now we'll add the event. When my mouse enters and leaps over the button, the event should trigger. Let's first write the enter event. So for that I will say my button. This is associated with the button. So I must give the bt1 or the button. Now bind. Here I am binding the event. So inside this, first I will write what is the event. When the mouse enters. So this is how I will write the event or trigger the enter event. When the mouse enters the button area, the mouse is over the button. What it should happen? Now I will write a one-liner here. Then we'll shift to the function. So here I am saying what it will do is lambda, because I am writing a function, small function here. In the same line I am writing, even if for that event I am passing it. Now what I am going to do is I will write the config, means the button. Where it should happen is in the button 1, bt1 dot config, or configure also I can write config. Now I will change the attribute. What are the attribute I will change? All that we have discussed previously. The every widget have a list of attributes. I can change those attribute values. Now here my intention is whenever the mouse enters there, change some attribute. Let's first change the text. Now I will say text equal to welcome. Now this is changes the text written on the button. Let's just see this, how this works. Now let me save this. Run once. Yeah, here it is. Now I am bringing the mouse here. You can see it is welcome, but change to welcome. Now I'll close this, again run it. See, the initial text written is submit. I am bringing the mouse over here and it changes to welcome. But once I move out of it, it remains as welcome because I have not entered the mouse out event, or I have not written anything. What will happen when the mouse leaves the button? That also another event that we'll see. One more line we'll write that let's copy this code, paste it here. It is the same button. Instead of enter, here I will say leave, because that time the event is leave. So now when the mouse leaves, this will trigger this function. This one-liner will be this lambda. But here I will change the text to thanks. Now instead of welcome, moment it leaves, it will say thanks. Now two events are there, one for enter and one for leave. So let's run this. Here it is. Now I am bringing the mouse over the button. It has told welcome. So the first event, the enter event is triggered. Now once I leave it, it says thanks. Now again I am bringing it here. It says welcome. Moment I leave it, it says thanks. So there are two events I am triggering. One is when the mouse enters, one when the mouse leaves this. Instead of changing a single attribute, let's change more attributes so we can see the difference. So let's say this whenever the mouse enters, the background color should change to, let's say, light green. So bg equal to. Now similarly here also, let me just, we'll bring it back to our original, what is the previously. So once the mouse moves out, let the background return to yellow. And it is not that these two, you can further extend it also by changing updating the other attributes, the big list of attributes we have already discussed previously. So let's run this and see how this works. So here it is. Now when I am bringing the mouse, see the text is not the text only have changed, the background also changed. Now I am taking it out, the text changed and the background returned to yellow. So other attributes also I can add to this. Here we have written in all our changes required in a one line here, but in a real life situation we may require some other things like a database updation also should happen, some other code or some other bulk of code to be executed. So in that case we can't write it everything in a one line here. We may have to go for a function which we can define it and work on that based on our requirement. Now what we will do is same things we will do it inside a function. So for that, let me comment this line. This line will not use. So instead we'll call the function. But what I am doing is I am just copying this, pasting it here. I am calling a function now. Let me just put it pass here. So fine. Now what I am going to do the same thing. Now here up to this point it remains same. Now here I am calling my update. This function I am calling, rest of the things I am removing it from here. So what happens once the mouse enters, this just calls this function my update. Here I am writing whatever I want to write. What I am going to do is copy this much part and paste it here. Fine. So what happens once I may have to remove this extra bracket here. Yeah. So once my mouse enters over the button, so this calls this function. Instead of doing anything, it calls this function. Inside this function, I can write the entire whatever the changes I want. Even I can extend this. Suppose I want once the mouse enters there, update a database. So I can write the further code here. So I will just comment it. Write your code here. I want to do some more task also. Said I want to disable some other things, or it may allow me to enable a entry box or thing. All those stuff I can write it here. Now let's just whatever we have seen, let's just see this. Fine. Now once I enter it, see the same functionality once I move out. So this time instead of writing it here, we have written inside a function which we can extend it further, and this is the how we will the event we can trigger and execute a function. That's all friends. Hope you have enjoyed this tutorial and understood the concept of how a mouse enter and leave event will affect or will integrate into a button. Now similarly other wizards and other events also we will study, but before we move further, my request is please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you'll be notified as and when we add new tutorials, and we are frequently doing that also. And if you have any doubts, suggestions, questions, use the comment section below to post it. Please share this with your friends, and thank you for watching.